The smell of coffee should have made me happy that morning. It usually did, but Lena's silence was louder than anything in the room. "Morning," I said, forcing a smile. She didn't look up from her phone. "Morning." Her voice was flat, distant. "You forgot something," I teased, holding up my coffee mug. "The annual birthday kiss." She sighed, set her phone down, and leaned over, brushing her lips against my cheek like she was signing a contract. "There," she said. That tiny word cut deeper than I wanted to admit. "So," I said, trying to keep my tone light, "any special plans tonight?" "I thought maybe dinner," or she interrupted. "Actually, Ethan, I need you to go to Seattle today. The Carter Project Mr. Cole said they need revisions ASAP. I blinked. "Seattle, today? It's my birthday, Lena." "I know," she said, not looking at me. "But this is important. You're the only one who can handle it." I laughed quietly, trying to read her expression. "You're really sending me away on my birthday?" She frowned. "Don't make this dramatic, please. It's just one day." Something in me twisted. "One day," I repeated. "Right." She moved toward the counter, picking up her phone again. "Your flight's at 6. I already booked it." I stared at her. "You planned this without even asking me." "Ethan, it's work. I'm helping you, helping me." The words tasted like poison. I grabbed my keys, trying to swallow the unease creeping into my chest. "Fine, I'll go. Maybe when I get back, we can actually talk." She didn't answer. She was already typing again by afternoon. I was pacing in my office, pretending to care about blueprints while my phone stayed stubbornly silent. No happy birthday. No call. Just the echo of her cold voice in my head. When I got home to pack, I heard her in the kitchen, her voice low, soft, smiling in a way I hadn't heard in months. "He'll be gone by tonight," she whispered. I froze. Gone by tonight. My heart started pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I tried to shake it off. Maybe she was planning a surprise. Maybe I was paranoid, but something in her tone, warm, intimate, felt wrong. When she walked into the living room, I pretended to scroll through my phone. "Who were you talking to?" She blinked. "Just my mum. She's asking about your birthday, right?" I forced a smile. "Tell her I said hi." She smiled back, too quickly. Sure. That was the moment I knew something wasn't right. But I still left. Because I loved her more than I trusted myself. The airport buzzed with noise that didn't reach me. I sat near the window, staring at planes taking off, trying to convince myself she wasn't lying. My phone buzzed. "Caleb, my best friend. Message, happy birthday, man. You celebrating tonight or what?" I smiled faintly and typed back, heading to Seattle. Lena sent me off to work. Seconds later, he replied, "Seattle. Weird. I just saw her with someone at your place. Looked like, you know what, never mind." My pulse spiked. "Who?" I typed, no reply, dot. Another message came from someone else, Mike, a mutual friend. "Hey bro, saw Lena and Caleb leaving your house earlier. Surprise party maybe." The room started spinning. Caleb. My best friend Caleb. I stood up, nearly knocking my bag over. People stared. I didn't care. The drive home felt endless. My fingers were shaking on the wheel. Every red light felt like a punishment. When I reached the house, the lights were dim, the curtains drawn. I didn't knock. I just opened the door. Lena's laughter floated from the living room, and then Caleb's voice. I froze. Every breath hurt when I stepped inside. Time stopped. Lena was on the couch, wrapped in Caleb's arms, her head on his shoulder. She saw me first. Her eyes widened. Ethan. Caleb jumped up, his face pale. "Bro, listen, don't," I said. My voice didn't sound like mine anymore. "Ethan, it's not what you think," she stammered. I laughed, a bitter, broken sound. "Oh, then what is it, Lena? A meeting? A surprise? Should I close my eyes?" Tears filled her eyes. "You don't understand. You didn't mean to." I snapped. "You sent me away so you could do this in my house." Caleb looked like he wanted to disappear. "It just happened." I turned to him. It just happened. You're my best friend, Caleb. I would have died for you. He looked down. I'm sorry, man, sorry, I whispered, shaking my head. That's all. Lena reached for me. Ethan, please, I stepped back. Don't touch me. The silence after that was unbearable. The only sound was the clock ticking on the wall, each second marking the death of everything I thought was real. Finally, I laughed again, quiet, empty. Happy birthday to me. I walked out, the door slamming behind me. The rain started before I reached the car, cold and relentless, washing away nothing. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel like I existed. The air felt too heavy to breathe. Lena stood frozen, Caleb beside her, both half-dressed in guilt. My voice trembled, but the words escaped before I could stop them. How long? No one answered. Only silence. How long, Lena? I repeated, louder this time. She flinched, but didn't look away. A few months. My chest tightened. A few months. While I was building us a future. She crossed her arms, defensive. You were never really here, Ethan. Those words hit harder than the betrayal itself. Never here. I worked my ass off for us. For you. You worked for yourself, she snapped. You were obsessed with success. I felt invisible. I stared at her, trying to understand how the woman I loved could sound so calm, tearing my life apart. So sleeping with my best friend was your way of being seen. Her lips trembled, but she said nothing. Caleb stepped forward, guilt carved into his face. Ethan, it happened. We didn't plan it. I laughed bitterly. Oh, it just happened. Like tripping and falling into my wife's bed. Don't do this, Lena whispered. Don't do this. You did this. I shouted. My voice cracked. It sounded foreign. You destroyed everything. Caleb tried again. Look, man, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Stop calling me man, I interrupted. You don't get to call me that anymore. He lowered his head. I looked at her really. Looked at the woman I'd built dreams with. The woman I'd trusted with my soul. Was any of it real, Lena? Tears filled her eyes. I loved you, Ethan. I still don't say that, I said sharply. You don't get to love someone and betray them at the same time. She reached out, but I stepped back. Her hand hovered in the air, empty. Please, she whispered. I didn't mean to hurt you. You didn't mean to, I said quietly. But you did. The room felt smaller. Every breath burned. I couldn't stand the sight of them. I turned and walked out. Behind me, I heard her call my name, but I didn't look back. The rain outside was relentless, soaking through my shirt in seconds. I didn't care. I needed to keep moving, or I'd collapse. I got into my car, started the engine, and drove without direction. The streets blurred into streaks of light. My hands shook on the wheel. I kept hearing her voice. You were never really here. Maybe she was right. Maybe I'd been so focused on fixing everything that I didn't see her slipping away. But that didn't excuse betrayal. Nothing did. Hours passed. I didn't know where I was going until I saw the old sign, Cole & Sons Construction. Henry Cole, my mentor. The man who taught me everything I knew about architecture and life. I pulled into his driveway. Headlights flashing against his window. A moment later, the porch light flicked on. He stepped out, grey hair damp from the drizzle. Ethan, he said, surprised. Son, it's past midnight. Didn't know where else to go, I managed to say. My voice cracked. He nodded slowly. Come in. Inside, warmth and silence wrapped around me. He poured 2 cups of coffee, and waited. I couldn't speak. My hands trembled as I held the mug. Finally, I said, she cheated Henry with Caleb. He didn't look shocked, just sad. I'm sorry, son. I caught them, I continued. In our house. She didn't even deny it. He leaned forward. What did she say? She said I was never really there. I let out a bitter laugh. Can you believe that? He studied me quietly. Maybe she's wrong. Maybe she's right. Doesn't change what she did. I looked up, angry. You're defending her. No, he said softly. I'm saying pain doesn't always come clean, but what you do next defines who you become. His words sank into me. I wanted to scream, to break something, but instead, I whispered, I don't even know who I am without her. He took a sip of coffee, eyes steady. Sometimes losing everything is the only way to find yourself. I sat there, staring into my cup as if it held answers. What if I don't want to find myself? What if I just want it to stop hurting? It will, he said, but not tonight. I nodded, staring at the rain outside. My reflection in the window looked like a stranger. After a long silence, I said, she left the divorce papers on the counter. Are you going to sign them? I hesitated. Not yet. Why? I looked up at him, my voice hollow. Because she doesn't get to walk away like it never happened. I want her to feel what I felt. Henry sighed. Be careful, son. Bitterness burns slow, but it burns deep. I stood up, putting the cup down. Maybe I need the fire for now. He didn't argue. He just nodded. Then use it to build something new. When I stepped back into the night, the rain had softened. The sky was still dark, but somehow, I felt a flicker of clarity. I drove home one last time. The house looked lifeless, like it belonged to someone else. I packed my bags quietly. Every sound echoed in the hollow space that used to be our life. As I closed the door behind me, I whispered to the empty room. You wanted me gone, Lena. Now you've got it. The keys clicked on the counter. I didn't look back. The days blur together. Meetings, emails, empty coffee cups. I stopped checking my phone, though I see her name flash sometimes. I let it ring out. Ethan, Mia says one morning, setting a cup beside me. That's your third all-nighter this week. I grunt, eyes on the screen. Keeps me from thinking. She studies me quietly. Human keeps you from feeling. Her words hit harder than I want to admit. You sound like Henry, I mutter. Smart man, she says, half smiling. But you look like hell. I chuckle dryly. Thanks for the honesty. You hired me for it, she replies, then walks out. Leaving the faint scent of coffee and cinnamon behind, the silence stretches after she's gone. My office feels bigger, emptier. I sink back in my chair, watching raindrops crawl down the window. By evening, she returns with 2 mugs. Drink this before your brain melts. I glance up. You're persistent. I'm practical, she says, sitting opposite me. And I hate watching good people drown in bad love. Something in her voice makes me look up. You don't even know the half of it. Then tell me, she says softly. I shouldn't, but I do. The words spill like broken glass. She said she loved me. On my birthday, and by nightfall, she was in his arms. Mia doesn't flinch. She doesn't offer sympathy. She just listens, really listens. When I finally stop, she leans back, eyes thoughtful. You'll rise again, Ethan. But not for her, for you. The room goes quiet. I stare at her, those words echoing inside me. For me, I repeat under my breath. She nods. That's the only way it lasts. Something in me shifts. Small, almost imperceptible, but real. That night, I sit alone, staring at my reflection in the office glass. My eyes look older, sharper. Maybe pain carves out what we're meant to become. I grab my phone. Scroll through the old photos, Lena laughing, Caleb grinning, me smiling like I had everything. I delete them one by one. When the last photo disappears, I feel lighter. The rain outside thickens into a downpour. The sound fills the room, rhythmic and steady. I whisper to myself, I'll rebuild. It feels strange, powerful, like breathing after drowning. Then dash 3 sharp knocks at the door. I frown. It's nearly midnight when I open it. She's there. Lena soaked. Mascara running, trembling. Ethan, she chokes out, please. I didn't know where else to go. Every nerve in my body screams at once. What the hell are you doing here? She steps closer. Caleb, he left me. He used me. Her voice cracks. For a second, I almost see the woman I once loved, but then I catch the flicker in her eyes, not remorse. Just desperation used you, I echo. You mean the way you both used me? Tears spill down her cheeks. It wasn't supposed to happen. I thought I don't. I cut her off. You thought, what? That you'd get sympathy? I made a mistake, Ethan. No, I say coldly. You made a choice. The rain pounds harder against the glass. My heart feels like it's beating in sync with it, loud, relentless. Please, she whispers. Can we just talk? Talk. I laugh bitterly. You didn't want to talk when you were whispering he'll be gone by tonight. She looks stunned. You heard that? I heard everything, I say quietly, and it killed everything. For a long moment, there's only silence, the kind that weighs more than words. I'm sorry, she finally says, barely audible. Sorry doesn't fix scars. I reply, stepping back. It just reminds you where they came from. Her eyes search mine, but I've got nothing left to give her. Goodbye. Lena. I close the door before she can say another word. The echo of it slams through me. Final and clean. Outside, thunder rolls across the city. Inside, I stand still, heart racing, breath steady. For the first time in weeks. The silence doesn't feel empty, it feels like peace trying to return. I whisper to myself again. Firmer, this time I'll rise. For me, and this time, I believe it. A full year. 12 months since my world fell apart. And today, it's my birthday again. The restaurant hums softly around Medem lights. Quiet jazz, the scent of red wine, and something sweet burning in the kitchen. I chose this place on purpose. The same one where she once made me believe love was permanent. When she walks in, I almost forget to breathe. Same perfume. Same soft steps. But everything feels different now. Ethan, she says carefully, smiling like we're old friends. You look good, I nod. So do you. She sits, clutching her purse a little too tightly. You didn't tell me why you wanted to meet. I wanted to talk, I say simply. Her eyes soften. I hoped you might. I motion for the waiter. Dinner first. Then we'll talk. She nods, relief flickering across her face. It's been a long year. I know, I say, pouring wine into her glass. A long one for both of us. She hesitates. I've thought about you. About everything. I swirl my drink. Have you? She leans forward, voice trembling just a bit. I made mistakes, Ethan. Terrible ones. I was lost. You are selfish, I say quietly. Her lips part, but she doesn't argue. I've been seeing a therapist, trying to understand why I did what I did. That's good, I reply. Understanding's the first step. She blinks, surprised by my calm. You sound different. I am, I say. Pain has a way of rearranging people. For a moment, she just looks at me, searching for the man she once controlled. I let her look. Let her realize he's gone. I still care about you, she says finally, voice small. I know you hate me, but I don't, I interrupt. Hate's heavy. I put it down months ago. Her shoulders ease. Then maybe we can. No, I say firmly. We can't. Her face falters. You invited me here just to say that. Not exactly. I reach into my jacket and slide a sealed envelope across the table. She looks at it warily. What is this? I smile faintly. Happy birthday, Lena. This time, it's your gift. She stares at me, confusion giving way to dread. Her fingers tremble as she opens it. The moment she sees the papers, the color drains from her face. Divorce papers. She whispers, yes. Her eyes fill fast. Ethan, I thought you weren't ready. You didn't even sign last year. I wasn't ready then, I say evenly. But I am now? Her lip quivers. I thought maybe you still loved me. I did, I say. But love isn't supposed to survive betrayal. She wipes her tears, voice shaking. You don't understand what Caleb did. He used me, Ethan. He lied to me. I'm sure he did, I reply. But that doesn't erase what you did. She lowers her gaze. I've been trying to make it right. You can't, I tell her softly. Some things don't get fixed, they end. Her breathing grows shallow. Please, don't do this on your birthday. I couldn't think of a better day, I say. 1 year ago, you ended my life. Today, I start a new one. Her tears fall freely now. You're really leaving me behind. I already did, I answer. This is just the paperwork catching up. She covers her face with her hands. You're so cold. No, I say, standing. I'm finally calm. She grabs my wrist before I can move. Ethan, please. Don't go like this. I look down at her. You chose your ending the moment you whispered, he'll be gone by tonight. Remember? Her hand slips away. The room feels weightless, like the air itself has let go. I never stopped loving you, she whispers. Then that's your burden, I reply. Mine was forgiving you, and I already did. I place the pen on the table beside her. Sign when you're ready. As I turn to leave, she says my name one last time, soft, broken, drenched in regret. I don't look back. Outside, the night air greets me, crisp and alive. The rain from earlier has stopped, leaving the pavement glistening beneath the streetlights. I inhale deeply. Freedom has a scent. When my phone buzzes, it's a text from Mia. Happy birthday, boss. Hope you did something that felt right. I smile. I did. The city hums around me different now, lighter. For the first time in a long time, I'm not running from the past. I'm walking straight into what's next, and this time, it's mine. The envelope arrived on a Monday morning, thick, official final. Your divorce is complete, the lawyer said over the phone. It's all done, Ethan. I just nodded, even though he couldn't see me. Thanks. I hung up and stared at the papers for a long time. No fireworks, no relief, just silence. By noon, the news broke. Caleb's company had collapsed. Embezzlement, fraud, public humiliation. Karma moved faster than I ever could. Mia stepped into my office, holding her phone. You've seen this, right? I nodded. Yeah, she frowned. You're not smiling, should I be? He destroyed your life. You deserve to feel something. I do, I said quietly. Just not what I expected. She hesitated. What now? I don't know, I said. Maybe start figuring out who I am without the anger. That's what brought me to Dr. Nora Quinner, therapist with calm eyes and a voice that could quiet thunder. So, she began during our first session, why are you here? I leaned back on the couch, unsure. Because I'm tired of being angry. Good, she said. That's the right reason. She scribbled something on her pad. Tell me about Lena. Do I have to? You came here to stop running from the things that still own you, she said. So yes. I sighed. She was everything I thought I wanted. Until she wasn't. And Caleb, my best friend, I said bitterly. Used to be, anyway. She nodded slowly. And when you found out, I wanted to burn everything. Them, me, the world. Her eyes softened. Did it help? I looked at my hands. No. The fire just stayed inside. That's what anger does, she said. It pretends to protect you while it kills you quietly. I swallowed hard. So what? I just forgive them. Forgiveness isn't approval, she said gently. It's freedom from them, not for them. Her words hung in the air like truth I'd been avoiding. I thought revenge would make me feel strong, I admitted. But it just made me feel hollow. Because strength doesn't come from holding the knife, she said. It comes from dropping it. I leaned forward, my voice low. You really think I can heal from this? I don't think, she said. I know. Her certainty unsettled me but also steadied me. That night, I sat by the window, watching the rain trace lines down the glass. For once, I didn't replay the betrayal. I just listened to the quiet, to my own breathing. Mia texted, how was therapy? Weirdly honest, I replied. She sent a small heart emoji. You needed that. Maybe I did. The next session, Nora asked, when was the last time you slept peacefully? Can't remember, I said. She smiled. You will. We sat in silence for a while. Then she said softly, you can't heal by holding the knife that hurt you, Ethan. You have to let it fall. I closed my eyes. Something inside me unclenched. That night, for the first time in over a year, I slept. No nightmares, no anger, just sleep. When morning came, the sunlight didn't look harsh anymore. It felt real. I made coffee, stood on the balcony, and whispered to the air, I forgive you. I didn't know if I meant it yet, but saying it didn't hurt, and maybe that was enough for now. It had been months since the divorce. My life had settled into quiet patterns: therapy, work, long walks at dusk. I'd stopped checking her social media, stopped replaying that night in my head. Or at least, I thought I had. Then, one afternoon, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "Hi Ethan, it's Alan, Alina's friend. Can we meet? It's important." I hesitated. My pulse quickened, but curiosity won. When I arrived at the small cafe downtown, she was already there, nervously stirring her coffee. "Thanks for coming," she said softly. "What's this about Alina?" She took a breath. "You deserve to know what really happened." I frowned. "I already do. She cheated with Caleb. End of story." Her eyes filled with regret. "It's not that simple." I leaned back, crossing my arms. "It never is it? Alina," I said slowly, "just tell me." She met my eyes. "Caleb lied to her, Ethan. He told Lena you were cheating on her. He showed her fake messages, screenshots, photos. He played her." My heart thudded once. "Hard what?" "He convinced her you were seeing someone from work. He said he caught you at a hotel." She didn't believe him at first, but he kept pushing, said he was trying to protect her. I stared at her, my throat tightening. So she betrayed me because she thought I'd already betrayed her. Alina nodded. "Caleb planned everything. He wanted your position in the company, your life." Even her eye rubbed my face, trying to breathe. "And you're telling me this now?" I didn't know how deep it went until after everything fell apart. She said, "When Caleb's company collapsed, Lena told me the truth. She's been drowning in guilt ever since." I let out a bitter laugh. "Guilt doesn't fix what's broken." "No," Alina said quietly, "but she never stopped loving you." I looked out the window, watching the rain streak down the glass. "Love built on lies isn't love. It's a trap." "She wanted me to tell you," Alina added. "Not to ask for forgiveness, just so you'd know." "Now I do," I said flatly. She reached out a hand. "Ethan, she's not the same person anymore. You should see her. I don't know if I can." "Maybe you should," she whispered. "Not for Hereford, you." That night, I found myself driving to Lena's apartment. I told myself I was doing it for closure, not emotion. When she opened the door, she looked smaller, fragile. The confident woman I once knew was gone. "Ethan," she breathed, eyes widening. "You came." "Yeah," I said. "Alina told me everything." Tears filled her eyes instantly. "Then you know what I did." "Why I did it?" "I know Caleb lied," I said, "but you still chose him." She nodded, trembling. "I did, and it destroyed me." I stepped inside. The place was dim, cluttered with half-packed boxes and untouched takeout containers. "I lost everything," she whispered. "The company, my friends, you. I thought I was punishing you, but I only punished myself." "You were manipulated," I said quietly, "but you still pulled the trigger." Her voice cracked. "Do you hate me?" "No," I said, "not anymore." She looked at me, desperate. "Then why does it hurt so much?" "Because you finally see what I saw," I said softly. "The cost of lies." She covered her mouth, sobbing. "I wish I could undo it." "I know," I said. "But we both lost who we were that night." She looked up, eyes red. "And you? Did you find your way back?" I nodded slowly. "I didn't." She smiled weakly. "Good. You always deserved peace." I turned toward the door. "So did you. I hope you find it someday, Ethan," she said, voice breaking. I stopped, hand on the doorknob. "Thank you for not hating me." I looked back once. I don't have room for hate anymore. When I stepped outside, the air was cold but clean. For the first time, the past didn't follow me out the door, it stayed behind with her, where it belonged. Rebuilding didn't happen overnight. It came in small pieces: quiet mornings, long walks, and sketches that spoke when I couldn't. My desk at the studio became a reflection of my progress: pencil dust, coffee rings, and half-finished drawings of faces that didn't haunt me anymore. Mia noticed before I did. "You've been humming lately," she said one morning. Placing a cup of coffee beside my sketchpad, I looked up. "Have I?" She smiled faintly. "Yeah. You used to sit in silence, staring at nothing. Now you hum." "Guess that's progress," I said, sipping the coffee. "Or insanity," she chuckled. "I'll take progress." Days blurred into weeks. We worked side by side, her typing reports, me sketching designs for a new project. She never pushed, never pried. Just existed beside me like a calm heartbeat. One evening, I caught her staring at one of my sketches. "You draw peace well," she said softly. "I'm still learning what it looks like," I replied. She turned toward me. "You're getting close." I wanted to believe that. Later that week, after a long meeting, we stepped onto the office balcony. The city glowed beneath us, lights blinking like small promises. Mia leaned against the railing. "You've changed, Ethan." I watched the sunset paint her face in gold. Maybe I finally became who I was supposed to be. She tilted her head. "Do you ever think about her?" "Sometimes," I admitted. "But not with hate anymore, just distance." "That's good," she said. "Means you healed." "Or, I'm just tired," I said, smiling faintly. She laughed. "Healing and tired look the same sometimes." We stood there quietly. The wind brushed through her hair, carrying that faint vanilla scent I'd come to associate with calm. "I don't know how you did it," I said. "Watched me fall apart, didn't walk away." Her eyes softened. "Because I saw you trying. People who fight to find themselves deserve company." I looked at her, really looked. "You never asked for anything back." "I didn't need to," she said. "Some things are enough as they are." I turned my gaze back to the horizon. "Do you ever miss who you used to be?" She shrugged. "Sometimes. But then I remember, I didn't really know myself then." I nodded slowly. "Yeah, I get that." The silence that followed wasn't heavy. It was full, like the pause between heartbeats when life feels right. Mia glanced at me. "You're smiling, am I?" "Yeah," she said, "and not the fake kind you used to wear." I laughed softly. "Careful, you might make me sentimental." She smirked. "Wouldn't be the worst thing." I leaned back against the wall, watching the sun dip lower. "You know, for the first time, I don't feel like I'm running from anything." "That's because you're not," she said. "You're walking toward something now." "Maybe," I murmured, "but I'm not sure what yet." "You don't have to be," she said. "Just keep walking." Her words settled in me like warmth spreading through cold spaces. We stayed until the city lights outshone the sunset. She shivered slightly, and I handed her my jacket without thinking. "You'll catch a cold," I said. "You sound like someone's dad," she teased. "Maybe I sound like someone who cares." Her cheeks flushed. But she didn't look away. "You really have changed." "I had to," I said. "The old me wouldn't have survived this long." She nodded. "Then don't ever go back." "I won't," I promised. The breeze picked up, scattering a few papers from my hand. She caught one, a small sketch of an empty chair beneath a tree. "What's this?" she asked. I smiled. "The place I imagine peace lives." "It's beautiful," she whispered. "You should finish it." "Maybe I already did," I said quietly. She smiled at my gentle reel, unhurried. That night, after she left, I sat alone at my desk, staring at that same sketch. For once, I didn't feel the urge to fix or erase anything. I just let it be. They say, love finds you when you stop chasing pain. Maybe that's true. I wasn't in love again, not yet. But I was open to something better. Not fire. Not chaos. Just peace. And for the first time in a long time, peace felt like enough. It had been almost a year since I last thought about Caleb, at least. That's what I told myself, until his message appeared in my inbox. "Ethan, please. I need to talk." For a while, I stared at it. My chest didn't tighten this time. No anger, no heat, just quiet curiosity. When I finally agreed to meet, he was already waiting at the cafe. He looked, smaller. Shoulders hunched, eyes sunken, like life had been drained out of him. "Ethan," he said, as I approached, his voice trembling. Thanks for coming. I nodded, sitting across from him. You said it was important. He ran a hand through his messy hair. Everything's gone. My wife, she left. The business collapsed. I don't even know where to start. I watched him, silent for a moment. You could start with why you called me. His eyes flickered with shame. Because I needed to see the one person who didn't deserve what I did. I thought I could live with it. I can't. I leaned back, studying him. You thought time would erase it. I thought success would, he admitted, voice breaking. But it didn't. It all caught up to me. That's how truth works, I said, quietly. It waits. He let out a bitter laugh. You always were the calm one. Even when I lied to Lena. Even when he stopped, swallowing hard. I ruined everything. I told her you cheated because I couldn't face my own guilt. I didn't flinch. I know. His eyes widened. You knew. Alina told me months ago, I said. You don't have to confess to clear my conscience, Caleb. I already made peace with the past. He buried his face in his hands. I don't want peace. I want forgiveness. I hesitated, feeling the weight of those words. Forgiveness isn't something I can hand out like charity, I said softly. It's something you earn by being honest with yourself. He looked up, desperate. So what do I do? Start with the truth, I said. Say it out loud, even if no one listens. I destroyed the only real friendship I ever had, he whispered. I used your trust to feed my ego. And now, I have nothing. For a moment, I saw the man I used to know, not the rival, not the betrayer. Just a human being finally facing himself. You don't owe me anything, I said finally. But you owe yourself the truth. He blinked, tears forming. You're not angry. I was, I admitted. For a long time. But anger stopped feeding me. I got tired of carrying it. He nodded slowly. You really did move on. I had to, I said. Because holding on to hate doesn't make you right, just keeps you stuck. He wiped his face with his sleeve. You're stronger than me. No, I said. I just stopped pretending I wasn't broken. That's where healing starts. We sat in silence. The clatter of cups and murmurs around us filled the space his guilt couldn't. He finally spoke again, voice fragile. Do you ever miss how things were before? Sometimes, I said truthfully, but the version of us back then wasn't real. It was built on lies. He nodded, staring at his hands. I'm sorry, I know, I said, standing. And maybe someday, that'll be enough. He didn't stop me when I left. Maybe he couldn't. Maybe he finally understood that closure isn't a conversation, it's a decision. Outside, the wind felt lighter against my skin. I took a deep breath, watching people pass by, laughing, arguing, living. For the first time, I didn't feel like a man defined by betrayal. Revenge had never been victory. It only chained me to what hurt me, but forgiveness, quiet, unspoken, was freedom. And as I walked away, I realized I wasn't walking from him anymore. I was walking toward myself. The ocean always had a way of humbling me. It didn't care about my pain, my victories, or my ghosts. It just kept moving, endlessly, mercilessly, beautifully. The sky was gray that morning, the kind of gray that looked like it might break into sunlight if you waited long enough. I walked barefoot across the damp sand, the sound of waves filling the silence I once feared. In my hand, I held the small velvet box. Inside it, the last relic of who I used to be. My wedding ring. It felt lighter than I remembered. Maybe because I'd carried its weight for too long. I crouched near the shore, the tide brushing my feet. We had good days once, I murmured, my voice nearly lost in the wind, but I kept wearing this long after love had died. A memory flickered. Lena's laugh, the warmth of her hand, the betrayal that followed. It all passed through me like an echo fading into distance. Then, I opened my palm. The ring gleamed for a second before I tossed it into the waves. Happy birthday, Ethan, I whispered. You made it. The wind carried the words away. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was talking to my past, I was talking to my future. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I smiled when I saw the name Mia. Hey, I answered. Her voice was bright, Grounding. You disappeared. Don't tell me you're working again. Not today, I said. Just out clearing my head. On your birthday, she teased. You know, normal people celebrate with friends, not with existential solitude by the sea. I chuckled softly. Who said I was normal? I've known that since day one, she said, laughing. But listen, we're all meeting at Luna's tonight. Don't say no. I already told them you're coming. Mia, Ethan, she cut in. You deserve more than quiet reflection and black coffee. Come live a little. I stared at the waves. You know, a year ago, I couldn't even imagine being happy again. I know, she said gently, and look at you now, still a work in progress. She paused. Aren't we all? That's the beauty of it. Something about her voice, steady, unpretentious, always reminded me that healing didn't have to be dramatic. It could be quiet, patient, like tides smoothing rough stones. You sound like my therapist, I said, smiling. Dr. Nora taught you to breathe. I'm just teaching you to laugh again. I laughed, genuinely this time. That's fair. So, will you come? Yeah, I said after a moment. I'll come. Good. And wear something other than your brooding black shirt. Okay. We're going to the rooftop place. There'll be lights, music, humans. I'll consider it, I said. Consider it hard, she replied, pretending to threaten me. 7 sharp. Don't make me drag you. The call ended, but her warmth lingered. I slipped the phone back into my pocket and took a long breath. The sea breeze tasted like salt and freedom. My reflection flickered across the wet sand, and for once, I didn't see the man who begged for love, or the man who burned with revenge. I saw someone standing still. Present, I sat for a while, watching the tide erase my footprints. Maybe that's what healing was, learning, to let the ocean take what didn't belong anymore. Later that evening, I showed up. Not overdressed, not pretending. Just me. Mia spotted me first, waving with that easy smile that made everything around her feel lighter. You actually came, she said, mock surprise in her tone. You sounded threatening on the phone, I said. Didn't want to risk it. She laughed. You made the right choice. Come on, everyone's waiting. I followed her up the stairs to the rooftop. String lights twinkled overhead, and the city stretched out in a blur of color and sound. People were laughing. For once, I didn't feel like an outsider watching through glass. Luna handed me a drink. Happy birthday, Ethan. About time you joined us. Thanks, I said, raising my glass. Guess I ran out of excuses. As the evening unfolded, laughter replaced memories I used to replay in pain. Mia leaned against the railing beside me, the breeze catching her hair. See, she said softly. Not so bad. Not bad at all, I said. She studied me for a moment. You seem lighter. I threw something into the ocean today, I said. Please tell me it wasn't your phone, she teased. I smiled. No, my ring. Her expression softened. That must have felt big. It did, I said quietly. Not because I stopped loving her, but because I stopped hating myself for it. Mia nodded, her gaze understanding. That's the hardest part, learning. You can't rewrite what hurt you. Yeah, I said, looking out over the city. But you can stop reading the same chapter, she smiled. That sounds like something Dr. Nora would say. I grinned. Guess she's rubbing off on me. For a while, neither of us spoke. The music faded into the hum of traffic below. I thought about everything that had led me here, the pain, the betrayal, the silence, the rebuilding. Do you ever think, Mia said quietly, that maybe all of this happened so you'd find peace? Maybe, I said. Or maybe peace was waiting all along, I just wasn't ready to listen. She turned to me, eyes warm. Well, you're listening now. I am, I said. When midnight came, they brought out a small cake. The candlelight flickered, reflecting in Mia's eyes. Everyone sang, but I barely heard the words. When it was time to make a wish, I didn't ask for love or redemption. I just whispered, thank you, for the first time. The words didn't feel empty. After everyone left, Mia lingered as we cleaned up. So, she said, glancing at me, how does it feel, another year older, Another layer lighter. Feels like breathing without armor, I said. She smiled. That's poetic. Guess healing makes poets out of the broken, I said. We laughed quietly. Then she reached out, her hand brushing mine just enough to remind me that life still had warmth to offer. As we stepped out into the cool night, the city lights shimmered like reflections of the stars I'd once stopped looking at. I looked at Mia. Then, at the horizon beyond the skyline. For the first time, I wasn't haunted by what I'd lost. I was grateful for what I'd found, peace, and maybe just maybe at beginning.